So here's my table of contents. It's just going to go over what I will be speaking about to you all today. So what exactly are stimulants? Stimulants are a class of drug that speed up the messages traveling between the brain and the body. They are able to make people feel more awake, alert, confident, or energetic, which is why a lot of people are drawn towards these kind of drugs. Now, exactly what kind of form do they come in? You can find these as tablets, capsules, powders, crystals, or crystal-like powders as well. Now, what kind of stimulants are out there? So there are many types of stimulants. There are some that are legal, which you might have heard of already. You might have had a cup of coffee this morning, and believe it or not, coffee actually has a stimulant, and this stimulant is caffeine. There's also nicotine, which is legal in this country, as well as many prescribed medications such as Adderall, which can be prescribed to those who have ADHD, dexamphetamines, and Ritalin. Now, some illicit drugs or illegal drugs are speed, cocaine, and crystal meth, which are very dangerous. Now, what kind of effects do stimulants have on the body? Stimulants affect everyone differently, and this is because it depends on somebody's weight, height, health, whether this person is just used to taking this stimulant or not, whether or not drugs are taken around the same time as this stimulant, or even if you drink alcohol as well, the amount of stimulants taken, the environment, and also the type of stimulant you take can affect you differently. Now, in lower doses, people tend to feel euphoria, heightened feelings of well-being, increased heart rate and blood pressure, increased alertness, reduced appetite, as well as heightened energy, and many other things. Now, in higher doses, particularly those of illicit substances, people might feel very anxious, they can feel some tension, they can feel increased body temperature, nausea, tremors, seizures, coma, and in very serious cases, death, as well as overdose as well. Now, what kind of effects do stimulants have on the brain? So, the abuse or overuse of stimulants affects the brain's reward system. Stimulants disrupt the normal circuitry of the brain, which can result in feelings of withdrawal and cravings, which can later lead to addiction. Now, normal functioning of the brain circuitry results in the inhibition and stimulation of neurotransmitters at multiple sites in the brain's reward system. However, neuroadaptation and neuroplasticity, which occur when substances are present, can result in multiple neurotransmitters disrupting this normal circuitry, resulting in prolonged phases of withdrawal, as well as negative effects and anticipation and cravings. Now, what are some of these neurotransmitters that are affected? One of these neurotransmitters is dopamine. Now, dopamine helps regulate the feelings of pleasure. So somebody might feel a lot of pleasure when taking these stimulants, which could bring them back and make them want to take even more. Stimulants also cause the release of norepinephrine. Now, norepinephrine regulates mood, attention, learning, memory, and arousal, and it can also play a role in the substance withdrawal that somebody might feel. Now, what are some risks and consequences of taking stimulants? So there's always the risk of overdose, and the symptoms of overdose are racing heartbeat, chest pain, breathing problems, extreme agitation, fits, convulsions, and passing out. Now, tolerance and dependency is also a very big risk of taking stimulants. This can be whether somebody is taking prescribed stimulants such as Adderall, Ritalin, dexamphetamines, because people tend to, it is still possible to get addicted to them when they are prescribed. However, the risk is most dangerous with illicit drugs. People who use stimulants like ice, speed, cocaine, and nicotine regularly can become dependent on them. They may feel like they need the drug to go about their normal activities like working, studying, socializing, being at home, just getting through the day. They can also develop a tolerance to it. And what exactly is a tolerance? A tolerance means that they get used to taking the drug so often that they don't feel the same effects anymore. Therefore, they feel as though they need to take larger amounts of the drugs to take the same effect. Now, there are many other very serious risks and consequences. As mentioned before, overdose was mentioned, and overdosing can be very dangerous, especially when you're not near somebody who may have Narcan, which can reverse the effects of an overdose. When you overdose somebody, you can die. It's very dangerous. Now, another very big risk and consequence of taking stimulants could come from mixing these stimulants with alcohol, opioids, or MDMA, as well as many other drugs. Now, this can lead to irregular heartbeat, heart failure, stroke, seizures, or overdoses, and even death in very serious cases that I have just mentioned. And these were the references that I used today.